Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. With me today, my good friend, special guest, Jack McCann with McCann and Hubbard over in Brentwood. Now, besides estate planning, which we've been talking about today, Jack is also a real estate attorney, also does business contracts, among other things. And he's helped me with closings on properties, and I've sent clients to him who's been a big help to as well with real estate matters. So, and he has his own title company, so they can help you with anything you need along that way, along that line, rather. Now, one of the things we were talking about before the break had to do, as Jack had said, you know, when you get into the administration of an estate, will or trust, but typically some of the things that are going to be needed, and they've had financial instruments. Now, if they had insurance products, whether it's life insurance or annuities, then there are going to need to be claims filed with those companies. And if you've got retirement accounts, are going to be well, in a sense, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be filing a claim to have that asset put in your name. And there's a process, there's a lot of paperwork basically involved with that. That's why we help our clients with that, and this is where that pairing of having your financial advisor and attorney working closely together in these things can be so helpful. You know, when you set up a trust, as an example, the attorney is going to make sure that your real estate has been transferred. They're going to take care of the deeds needed to do that, to support those estate planning documents. However, other things are usually giving you a checklist saying, okay, you need to go home and you need to take care of changing beneficiaries, changing account titling, all of the things that are needed as part of getting that good estate plan set up, and when you're talking about a trust in particular. And this is where the financial advisor can come in. This is what we do with my clients, is we take care of getting all the other things done by working with the attorney. I go to those meetings typically when we're getting an estate plan set up. We make sure then that when we're doing reviews, and this is where your financial advisor can be so much help to you, because when you're doing a reviewing and making sure if there's an asset that changes, that it stays in the trust, as an example. So this is where it doesn't change how you do your day-to-day things, but when it comes time to administer that, it's so important to have that done correctly. Otherwise, you're going to be into probate and going through a probate process, and you've basically negated some of the benefits of having that trust set up, because now you're going to go through a probate process to get things into the trust for the trust to then do what you set it up to do. We can avoid that simply by making sure that we regularly review your planning and make sure that we keep your beneficiary designations up to date and your accounts up to date. So that's one of the things we do. Another, when it comes to these payouts or administering, think of this: there's these claims forms, as Jack said, you might get a packet with 25, 30 pages in it, and as he said, you may only need 3 or 4 of those to file the claim. But you look at that big stack, and guess what? There's probably multiple accounts. So now you got 5, 6 stacks of that, and what do you do, right? What about choices like this IRA? What do I do with this IRA? What's the best thing there? Maybe I've got an annuity payout. How do I, or choices? I can take a lump sum, or I can get this payout. Which is going to be in my best interest? These are all things that your advisor should be able to help you with. Again, if you need help along these ways, you can call my office, 615. If you don't have someone that's already in place to do those things, or maybe you want to kind of get a second set of eyes on your documents just to see if everything's the way you want it to be, call my office, 615-376-5325. We'll have you send documents to us or bring them in to us. We'll sit down with you, meet with you. Coffee's on me. All right. This is a great way. We're going to do a comprehensive plan for you, including a review of estate planning documents as a part of that, at no charge to you. This is a great way for us to get to know you and see if we can bring value to you, and if in fact it's a good fit, maybe we make it a longer term relationship. So 615-376-5325, and we'll look at everything, by the way. We'll look at Social Security. We'll do an investment analysis for you. We'll help you with choices with not just Social Security, but taxation of those benefits, choices you're going to have to make to help minimize those. This is that time, again, I mentioned the Secure Act. That Roth IRA may be something to relook at. That could be a big benefit to you. The 10-year rule on the Roth IRA, when it comes to your estate planning, is not so bad, all right? Because now I can leave it in for 10 years. I can cash it out, maximizing my tax-free growth on it before I cash it out. But even then, I can then reinvest it in some other vehicles, right? It's going to come out of the Roth, go into what we'll call a non-qualified account, but it can stay in the trust. Okay, it doesn't have to come out of the trust. We don't have to worry about required minimum distributions. We don't have the same issues that we would have with a traditional IRA or traditional retirement account. So it's something, again, if you're not sure if that would be something good for you, again, when you call the office there at 615-376-5325, we're going to do that for you. That's going to be part of the process. We'll help you with a Roth IRA analysis to see if you could benefit from that kind of planning. Among other things, like I said, Social Security, we get into tax planning, of course, the estate planning piece we're talking about today. All of that's included. And when you call me, we'll send you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. When you come in to see me, I'll also give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. Okay. You know, when it comes to administering, and we talked about Roth versus traditional IRA payout options that you have to deal with, huge difference tax-wise, by the way. I mean, this can be tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, and in particular over the lifetime of beneficiaries. So important to get that right so that we minimize how much goes to the IRS and maximize how much you get to keep. And as I started out the show talking about, right, when we look at what's going on with the underfunding of not only public pensions, but private pensions, when we see what's going on with Social Security, and we recognize these things have to be fixed, and that's probably going to mean what? An increase in taxes. We are at historically low tax rates, very low tax rates, and that's not likely to stay in place forever. We know that taxes are likely to go up, and at the very least in 5 years' time, when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires, basically, we're looking at a reversion back to what the tax brackets and taxes were prior to that. And that means a state tax exemption gets cut in half. That means all your tax bracket get an increase of about 25 to 30%. All of that's going to occur in just 5 years. So the good time to do some planning now. And the only way that's going to change, of course, is if Congress acts to either make them permanent. It depends on who wins as to the likelihood of that happening, of course, or to whether they change them, and are they going to change them to increase taxes, and it's not likely they're going to reduce them, right? So most we can hope for is that they would make them permanent, and that, of course, just means until the next administration. But, all right, we're going to take another break. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and you've been taking some notes on it. But again, you'll be able to call my office for any help you need, and I can arrange to meet for you to meet with Jack as well. So again, first a break, then we'll wrap it up here on the Retirement Report.